everybody. This is Lorraine.
And Jennifer, and we just did an accident.
So we're a little late this morning, but we are glad to be here live and talking about social media success, which isn't an accident.
No, it's not. It takes some planning to get it right.
Absolutely. And, one of the things is, well, let's do it this way. Jen, we're going to talk about the best 5 things everybody can do with social media, right?
No.
Why not?
Because there are different ways to do things, and it doesn't necessarily make it the best way. It made it the best way for that particular individual, and so it felt good and it worked because it was right for them, but it's not necessarily the right way for you. It's good that you listen and see different ways to do things, but you got to create your own plan.
And I'm going to jump on that word. I know that by now you guys are probably tired of hearing me talk about a plan, but social media, like any of your marketing, doesn't happen by accident. You need to be strategic. You need to think about, why am I doing this? What do I want to accomplish? Who do I want to talk to? And then you can decide how to approach social media.
Yeah, what content do people want to hear? What are their burning questions about your products or services that you can help answer with your content? Just another thing to think about.
Okay, so it may not be for everybody, but what's your favorite social media strategy right now? And right now because the algorithm changes.
Constantly changes. So right now, short form video is doing very well for me across all of the different platforms. I would say it's probably doing best on Facebook and LinkedIn, but that could be a factor that I have the most followings on those two
Mhm.
channels. So I definitely want to keep that in consideration. But I think short form video is good. I think that if you are not comfortable with getting in front of a camera, you need to get comfortable. However, I also have content that is not necessarily me in front of a camera. Let's say we do a podcast, elevatemarketing.podcast, and we take little snippets out of that podcast, and that actually becomes short form video as well. And it does really well too. It was some of my biggest content this past week.
Absolutely. It's as long as you're getting out there and you really hit the nail on the head, short. Right now, people's attention span is very, very short. And so that short form video gives people a great way to learn a little bit about you.
Remember back in the day, a highlight reel?
Mm-hmm.
That will get you
Absolutely.
interested in the longer form content. If you can just get a little bit of information of what it's about, then you might be willing to watch the longer form.
Absolutely. One of my favorite strategies right now is, you're going to laugh. It's kind of old school. It's, oh, I don't know, being social,
Actually having a conversation.
having a conversation. And so I've been experimenting with a couple of things that have worked, I think, really well. One is that I'm going back and looking at content that has done well. So it's things people were interested in. It's not the duds. It's not the things that nobody cared about because that was a dud, but a post that did well organically. And I'm going back and I'm specifically tagging 2 or 3 people, not the same 2 or 3 people every time, but 2 or 3 people that I know would have an interest or would have something worthwhile to say. And I'm like,
Mhm.
hey, Jennifer, I know that you do this kind of work a lot. What do you think about this? Or how do you do that? And you know what happens? Jennifer responds because I addressed it specifically to her.
And you're being social, you're having a conversation. And it doesn't matter if it was a conversation from a long time ago, you can still go back and pull those in as well. It doesn't have to be a recent post.
No, and something you said when we were offline was this idea that when you do that kind of stuff, now it kind of opens the floodgates a little bit. and other
Mhm.
people join the conversation. And you know what, people? The algorithm notices. It's not just that your community notices that post. The
Yeah.
algorithm, like, oh, this was an old post, but it's getting new comments. I should show it again.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you're getting that engagement, so that's engagement metric, and nobody wants to be the first one to comment, and so when you engage somebody that you know is going to have an opinion on something, it allows somebody else to kind of be able not have to explain their entire position on
Mhm.
something because they can just kind of comment on what somebody else has said.
Absolutely. And that's the other thing is if you're having an off day and you don't feel like creating content today, use that time to comment on other people's content and not just, hey, great post, but add real value. I mean, yeah, yeah. How many of those amazing, wow, insightful little comments do you get? Nobody cares about those, and the algorithm doesn't care.
I think it's a bot. I think you're a bot. I think you've got some sort of software on that, and so I'm not appreciative. I'm not. I don't wanna say I'm not. It's just like I don't know. But sometimes you're just not feeling it. But you're like, yeah, that's really good.
And share, maybe I would do it this way, or in addition to what you said, here's something else to consider. When you can do those kind of comments and you expand the conversation, the algorithm notices and people notice.
Yeah, yeah. It's not an accident. You're being strategic here. You're thinking about the content that you are putting out. You're paying attention to the metrics. You think one thing is going to be good and you put it out there and like, okay, that didn't work. Well, I thought it was going to be good, but it was not entertaining. You know, there's different ways to look at that. But you're testing it and
Mhm.
so you're looking at other people's ideas and you're not just willy-nilly posting things out there.
No, the best thing, well, not the best thing. One of the best things that I've had success with is actually building a community, finding a group of people that I interact with and engage with regularly. And this probably
Mhm.
goes back to my Twitter days.
Yeah,
I had that community and we talked about each other's stuff. And if you can build that kind of community and do it deliberately, because these
right.
are people that also have visibility to the kind of people you want to be visible to,
Yeah.
then that's a way to be more successful on social media.
Yeah, yeah. We mentioned short form video earlier, and I just want to say that although LinkedIn is not looked at as a short form video type platform, I've put my short form video on there recently and it's done well. I've also done some on the cuff, like I kind of have, a media setup here, computer, and I can do something on the cuff. That tends to do pretty well rather than me overthinking it.
That's the thing about short form video is it is disposable, and it took a long time for me to get comfortable with that. And I still edit even my short form video. I don't over edit it and I don't over stress the way I
Yeah.
used to, but it is very natural. It's very in the moment. And once you get comfortable with that, you can crank out a lot of, I think, really good and interesting content. And because it's not overproduced, people pay
Yeah.
attention.
I think my content that does the best is when I'm a little spunky, a little spiteful, a little angry. Like when that comes out, it's like, oh,
Oh, that was good. Yeah,
opinionated.
because you're being authentic. And that's the other thing with social media is it needs to feel, because it is a social platform.
Yeah.
It needs to feel
And
like
if
I'm
you're
having a conversation with you.
and if you're a brand and you need to understand what your brand is and what you stand for and what your values are, and that needs to come across in your language. And if you're not coming across that way, then people don't want to interact with you anyways. And that's why your page is not getting any love.
Absolutely. Okay, so we're going to put a pin in it here. I'm going to ask you if you're watching the video, whatever channel you're watching this on, go ahead and put a comment in the notes. We'll see it, we'll respond, we'll interact and engage with you.
Yeah.
And then we'll look for you on your social platforms too.
There you go. Favorite thing that Lorraine said and favorite thing that Jennifer said. All
Awesome.
right. Bye.
Bye.